If you galvanise the cause again around the world, you know, this isn't a defeat. This isn't a defeat at all, because more of our votes got through than we intercepted. Israel spends billions of...
Yeah, I'll put it on there.
On their military, and this is between all of us.
The thing about it is, the effects, I mean, other than beyond what syllables are. Yeah. So, at least, I mean, the sense I get is it's still reasonably sound because I put on films, comedy things, and I sort of smile.
And again, when you're at a protest, when you're at the demo, you might be speaking to the converted, but there will be people there who might necessarily usually be involved in mobilising for Palestine, but are there because they're supporting family and friends or whatever. Remind people that, you know, they need to be going to government 24/7, they need to be harassing the Irish government, telling McEntee, Simon Harris, be on man, they need to demand to do the job to protect us as citizens, and also to enact the Occupied Territories Bill and demand that the Yanks are removed from Shannon, and that any harm that comes to any of my comrades, they're as much to blame as the Israelis, because the Israelis are the Israelis, the Nazis are the Nazis, the Yanks are the Yanks, you know. Evil is evil, but it's the cowardice of so-called decent, normal people that allows evil to do what they do, you know. So that's the story, and we're more determined than ever, bro. Fuck them cunts.
I was kind of in a bit of rage when I just read the article.
Palestine! 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 Palestine will be free! Palestine will be free! Palestine will live forever! Palestine will live forever! Palestine! 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 Enact the occupied territories bill! Enact!
It's important for everyone to remember, when it comes to the Occupied Territories Bill, which was originally passed in 2018, the government have been promising to pass this through. What happened since 2018? Ireland has since become Israel's #1 trading partner on earth per person. Second biggest trading partner in the world, per capita, 12 times as much trade is going between Ireland and Israel as the United States of America. And what happened since the Occupied Territories Bill was passed in 2018 is that trade has increased by 600%. And how did that happen? Is the US tech companies increased their trade with Israel by 600% to the point of $3.2 billion per year. That's $600 per average person gets sent to Israel every year through trade, primarily through US tech companies who are increasingly creating environmental catastrophes throughout the country, increasing the price of fuel across the country, and we're seeing the effects of the country being shut down only last week because of rising fuel prices. No one wants to point the finger at the US tech companies responsible for both of these things. So when we see what happened between the US ambassador and the Irish government in 2019, putting pressure on serious economic consequences to Ireland if Ireland was to pass the Occupied Territories Bill. We faced lie after lie where the Irish government promised to pass the Occupied Territories Bill before the last election, and yet they still haven't. They promised to pass it last year, they still haven't. They promised then even to dilute it down and pass services, they've done nothing. So the Irish government this, in the midst of all of this, the Irish government has been lying about Shannon Airport. Lie after lie, they take us for fools. They can lie to us without consequence. 3 million US troops have passed through Shannon in the last 20 years alone. How many war criminals have passed through our country to go commit genocides, massacres, under resource wars for oil for the Epstein class, and we have just let them through safe passage while civilians, innocent civilians trying to bring nothing but food, medicine, baby formula, and the necessities for life are kidnapped in international water by the Zionist entity. And yet what's done? Where are the Irish governments now? Where are the governments of the world who have all signed the Geneva Convention? Who all have a legal obligation to prevent genocide, yet facilitate it 100%. It's not like they're just not doing enough to stop it. They're fully complicit in it. They support it. We are Israel's biggest trading partner on earth per capita, 12 times the US. We have to understand where we are, and within that we have power at the same time in our complicity. Yes, they refuse to do anything because they're under the thumb of US corporations and Zionist imperialist interests. So we need to demand accountability. We need to demand that our governments exercise sovereignty. Tell us the truth and stop lying to us, otherwise they have no business being there in the first place. What is the point of a government? Only to sell off all of our resources to allow and facilitate imperialism through our nation while claiming to do the opposite. It's all lies. And why are civilians going to try on boats only armed with food, water and medicine, trying to take on the Zionist empire? It's because governments have failed to do so. It's because governments have actively decided to support this genocide, to support the massacres and the expansionist Zionist project into now Lebanon, into Iran, into every single country on earth that dares to oppose them, and the Irish government have allowed them to deal with this impunity because we failed to do the most basic thing, which is enact the Occupied Territories Bill to prevent Shannon being used as a pit stop for US war criminals, and for the Irish government to do what they promised to do before the last election. So we say, listen to Mikey. What has he said is make sure that the participants on the flotilla are safe, that those kidnapped in international water are returned, that the rest of them have safe passage to open a civilian corridor into Gaza, allow food, water and medicine in, break the illegal siege, end the genocide and free Palestine.